On ability of individual to learn in harmony with other depends the future of mankind and the world. Among topics we discussed over lunch was the regrettable habit film directors then had of altering the plot of a novel to suit themselves, to the extent even of changing a sad ending into a happy one. The scientist and theologian approach the deep questions of existence from utterly different starting points. Science is based on careful observation and experiment, enabling theories to be constructed which connect different experiences. Regulating in the workings of nature are thought which hopefully reveal the fundamental laws that govern the behavior of matters and forces. Central to this approach is the willingness of the scientist to abandon a theory if evidence is produced against it. And since the king were more likely than the farmers to influence world events and to have biographics written about them, what we know of history has been largely shaped by the careers of famous men. I do not consider that making no mistakes is a blessing. I have erred once, but I shall not mistake the same mistake again. Nothing is gained by wasting time is regretting mistakes. It is much better to employ that time is analyzing and correcting what is wrong. The greatness of man does not lie in his being faultless. Error is sometimes inevitable. The real virtue of man lies in recognizing that faults can be set right and in striving to correct them. To write about human aggression is a difficult task because the term is used in so many different senses. Aggression is one of those words which everyone knows, but which are nevertheless hard to define. One difficulty is that there is no clear dividing line between those forms of aggression which we all deplore and those which must not disown if we are to survive. Yet it is a very plain and elementary truth that the life, the fortune, and happiness of every one of us, and more or less of those who are connected with us, do depend upon our knowing something of the rules of a game infinitely more difficult and complicated than chess. It might be said that every dictionary is the dictionary of a dead language. No matter how fast and how thorough a dictionary maker may be, by the time he has gathered his words, written description of them, and published his book, old words will have changed and new ones will have come into being. Earlier studies suggest that the link was proved. More recent research suggests that the damage is more subtle. Teenagers do not see murder on TV and feel encouraged to knife someone as a direct result. Everyone should know this. To form a society, individuals must be related in a certain manner. For instance, if people do not communicate with each other, if they are perpetually in aggressive physical combat, if they do not cooperate with each other and do so routinely over a period of time, then their interactions are not social and they don't constitute a society. The fact that animals lose their knowledge of things as time goes by, and consequently their interest in them, accounts for their absurd behavior in many situations. They constantly interrupt one line of action to do something else, and they may come back to the first activity or forget it altogether. Human beings, on the other hand, thanks to language, are able to pursue one purpose or to act in relation to a principle or to an ideal over a long period of time. Without language, man would communicate only simple thoughts, ideas, and experience. But with language, he thoughts, ideas, and experience. But with language, he can talk to other men and he can put his talk into writing for other men to read. By these means, he can make known for others all of his thoughts, ideas, feelings, and experiment. Okay. Okay, next is, however, feel that the teacher role is more fundamental than the critics. It comes down ultimately, I think, to the fact that his first obligation is to the truth of the subject he is teaching, and that for the reading of the literature ever become a habit and a pleasure, it must first be a discipline. Popular music can be said to comprise all the various kind of music that might not be considered under the general heading or of serious or classical music. The division between two worlds has always been fairly clearly defined, with those active in one sphere rarely trespassing in the other, and never more so than today, when instead of the distinction between based on fluctuating artistic taste, it is fairly film based on economic considerations. Okay, let's go next. Okay. No other boy is taller than Jack. 2. Nothing is as precious as time. 3. Nowhere can this be seen as clearly as in Japan. I have never felt so lonely. There are few colleges in which the students study so hard as in this college. Few human activities are at once so widely enjoyed and so much taken granted as the reading of fiction. Okay, next. The first great change in their lifestyle came when instead of hunting and gathering animals and plants, they brought them together and looked after them in a single location. This eliminated the element of danger present in hunting and reduced the probability of starvation, as there was no longer the possibility of returning empty-handed from a foraging expedition. It was the beginning of agriculture. Where do the pollutants come from? There are two main sources: sewage and industrial waste. As more detergent is used in the home, so more of it is finally discharged with the sewage into our rivers, lakes, and seas. Detergent harms water birds by dissolving the nature fatty substance which keep their feathers waterproof. Sewage itself, it is not properly treated, pollutes the water and prevents all forms of life in rivers and the sea from receiving the oxygen they needed. Even when sexism is not built into the grammar and usage as it in French and English, the speech community often regards masculine values as the norm. Succeeding generations unconsciously absorb sexism into in its children both a way to construct grammatical sentence and a value system for the use of its language. Okay, next. It is not uncommon for strained relationship to develop between an adolescent and his parents. And eagerness his great eagerness to achieve adult status, the young person may resent any restrictions placed upon him. Oftentimes he is not willing to admit, even to himself, that he has doubts, and the adolescent may say that his parents are over anxious and overprotective, whereas they're not aware of it. He is projecting his own anxiety into them. Although the city dweller dealing with people whom doesn't know very well gives him, on the other hand, a certain degrees of freedom that he would not have if he were dealing with family and friends in a small town. He loses, on the other hand, the sense of security that comes from living in a close-knit community. In short, the assertion that mathematics has been a major force in molding of modern culture, as well as a vital element of that culture, appears to many people incredible, or at best an extreme exaggeration. This This belief is quite understandable and results from a very common but mistaken conceptions of what mathematics really is. The crucial issue is whether the essence of life resides in the heart of or in the brain, because the body rarely shuts down all its systems at once, and because hospitals have access to the most modern life-preserving machinery. It is entirely possible that the brain, deprived of an adequate supply of oxygen, could die while the patient, often with the help of hospital equipment, remains alive. In the world of nature, there are always compensations. As a country lad, I became familiar at an early age with the farming maxim that there is never a year when every crop succeeds, nor when every crop fails. In recent years, a farming elite and its advisors have started to assume otherwise. They have been convincing themselves that if they prepare their plans according to the latest scientific knowledge and put them efficiently into practice, success is assured. Sorry. Okay. The social experience and values of the old and the young have always been in conflict. If younger people did not question the advice and beliefs of their parents, little change or progress would never occur. But with the accelerating speed of change in modern times, the conflicts between members of different generations, or between those people anxious to adjust to change and those less inclined to do so, were in danger of becoming more harmful than helpful. Furthermore, the very phase by which these conflicts are described, the generation gap, was becoming out of date. It's too long. Okay. Um. Oh wow. Nice. Okay. Okay. By reason of the fact that educated English is thus accorded implicit social and political sanction, it comes to be referred to as Standard English, and provided we remember that this does not mean an English that has been formally standardized by official action, as weight and measure are standardized by the term in useful and appropriate. Okay, next. There is general apathy to, if not positive distrust, science itself as a search for truth. For to the ordinary American, science is identified with mechanical inventions. Ask an American to name the greatest scientist of this country, and he will very likely reply Edison. As a nation, we respect only the practical application of science and have regard for the effort of inventors and promoters rather than those of the scientific discoverers. Oops. Today, we do not expect our children to work, either at home or in a factory. They contribute nothing to the economic well-being of the family. They are freer than they have ever been before simply to be children. We see them as the country of the family, around which the rest of life revolves. We protect them from responsibilities which were forced on earlier generations. The aggressive part of human nature is not only a necessary safeguard against savage attack, it is also the basis of intellectual achievement, of the attainment of independence, and even of that proper pride which enables a man to hold his head high among his fellows. Without the aggressive, active side of his nature, man would be even less able than he is to direct the course of his life or to influence the world around him. The sheer numbers of Europeans who left their homelands in the century before 1940s to go overseas suggest how important was the movement of which they were a part. Okay. Does it need to be okay? The man was my father. It's right here. Yes. And the rich man was my father. And okay, the man sleeping in the bed was my father. To it's say for like add to another word can cause like tell us to like he is rich or sleeping or anything others. Okay, the next. Okay, the man was my father. The man gave me a lot of money. Wow, he's so lucky. Or she. Okay, and okay, the man who gave me a lot of money was my father. Okay, it's easily to understand. Okay, next is this is the house where he was born. Okay, it will be added to the he will be born in this house. Okay, next. Okay, so he was born in the house. It's so important to understand for something. Okay, next. Okay, this is all the money I have to buy this watch. Wow, how much he have? Okay, next. I have always wondered as the passion many people have to meet the blade. The prestige you acquire by being able to tell your friends that you know famous men proves only that you are yourself of small account. Okay, next. Oh, it does nothing. Okay, next. Oh, hard problem. Mammal's labor was high valued. Later, it was the man who worked with his head to achieve success in business and industry who was looked up to. Now, there is in America a curious combination of pride in having risen to a position where it is no longer necessary to depend upon manual labor for a living and genuine delight in what one is able to accomplish with his hands. Okay, so it's so important to me. Okay, again, it's too long. It's long. Okay. In fairy tales, as in life, punishment or fear of it is only a limited deterrent to crime. The conviction that crime does not pay is a much more effective deterrent. And that is why in fairy tales the bad person always loses out. Wow, I don't know before why this happened. Okay, it is not the in fairy tales. Oh, okay, I'm wrong. It is not the fact that virtue wins out of the end which promotes morality, but the hero is most attractive to the child, who identifies with hero in all his struggles. Because of this identification, the child imagines that he suffered with the hero his trials and hardships, and triumpheth with him as virtue is victorious. Okay, I need to drink water. Okay, I'm back. The thing that saves most of us from feeling terrible about our limited intellect is some small part of our personality or character that make us different. Being uniquely ourselves make us feel better about not being smart. It's those little difference we have that keep from committing suicide when we realize early in life that a lot of people have more brains than we have. Okay. A puppy raised apart from other dogs will know how to bark when he gets old enough, but few children we know of who grew up without human contact grew up almost mute. Babies in understaffed founding hospitals who see very little of older people are said except for crying to be almost silent. Oh, wow, I don't know about it. Cool. Okay, next. Most of our knowledge acquired from parents, friends, schools, newspapers, books, conversations, speech, and video is received verbally. All of our knowledge of history, for example, come to us only in words. The only proof we have that Battle of Waterloo ever took place and that we have had reports to that effect. The process of learning has gone on since man first existed, and his ideas about it have been expressed in proverbial form. Proverbial form. Does it fight? Okay, I skip it. You must learn to walk before you can run. Recognize that there are stages in learning which must be taken in the right order if success is to be achieved. I don't know proverbial form. Proverbial form. Oh, proverbial form. Okay, I understand it. To this. Okay. Foreign language instruction should come early in the educational process, basically at the elementary level. Yeah, I really agree to it. Okay. This is because it can serve as a fundamental sharper of the child's perception of the world. It can help him accept the fact that there is much in the world that differs greatly from what he sees around him and to which he must learn to adapt himself. Okay. Oh, it's a little long. See this. Okay, I read it. Today, the skill of Western European pet keeping is undoubtedly unique in human story. It reflects the tendency of modern men and women to withdraw into their own small family unit for their greatest emotional satisfaction. The fact that so many people feel it necessary to maintain a pet for the sake of emotional completeness tells us something about the present day society in which we live. Okay. Okay, he refusal to talk hard. The failure of today public to accept the evidence. Our enjoyment of music. His deep love of nature. Their application to atomic weapons. Apply them to atomic weapons. Okay. The omission of your name from the list. I don't know for why this means. Okay. The indifference of the social system to their fate. The ability of the student to solve that problem. Okay. Wow. It's harder problem. Okay. Let's do it. The door as the main point of entry into a house has always had a place of particular importance in superstition, and the positioning over the porch of statues and good luck symbols, such as the famous horsehair horsesword, which must of course have the point upwards, has been specifically to keep out bad elements, either human or supernatural. Okay, wow, it's it's a little hard. In the age of abundance, the apparent availability of virtually all material necessities tend to lead people to accept speedy gratification on their desires and to have little sense of the length of time over which people in other times and place had to wait in order to have some of their more basic material needs satisfied. Okay, it's so hard to read. Okay, it's long again. Wait, it's still long. Okay. Thus, I learned from life itself. At the beginning, I was only a little mass of possibilities. It was my teacher who unfolded and developed them. When she came, everything about me breathed of love and joy was full of meaning. She has never since let pass an opportunity to point out the beauty that is in everything, nor has she ceased trying in thought and action and example to make my life sweet and useful. Okay. It's too long again. It's too really long. Wait, look at this. It's too long. Hard. Okay. Read it. Men can communicate, so can the other animals, but men can communicate across the barriers of time and space, while the other animals cannot. For man alone holds the secret of greatest of all inventions, the written word. Yeah, it's important. Okay, beside this, the telephone, the radio, the television are the toys of children. Only recently, in fact, have men conquered by means of the spoken word any space larger than that over which the natural voice will carry, whereas down thought the long course of history. Writing has been of inestimable service in bringing men and nations closer together. We should know little through, indeed, of that very history if we had to rely on oral tradition alone. Okay, it's long. Anything others? Okay. We should know little enough, indeed, of that very history if we had to rely on oral traditions. Okay, it's nice. Okay, that means is this in Japanese word. Oops, it's. Can you see it? Okay. Okay, let's read it again. Okay, next. In my experience, the problem of what to do in life was not made any easier by those who were in charge of my education. Looking back, it seems most odd that never once in all the years that I was at school was there any general discussion about careers. Oh, it's 3 minutes. Okay, next. Historians have described how life period became demarcated in Western so- societies over the past countries. Only with industrialization and the appearance of a middle class and formally organized school did childhood become a clearly definable period of time. Okay, next. So important is the role of the environment that talking of an innate tendency to be aggressive making little sense for animals, let alone for humans, It is as if we were to assert that because there can be no fires without oxygen, and because the earth is blanketed by oxygen, it is in the nature of our planet for a building to burn down. Okay, it's hard. Okay, this state of thing might be have lasted until his working life had ended in a natural way had not his employer, the head of the firm, died and his son, a young man with modern ideas and determination to increase his business, come into possession. Oh, okay, nice. Oh, only 1 minute. Okay, I read really fast. Such that vegetative reproduction he viewed as a stop towards the rearling of plants following seeding, and it was at this intermediate stage in Southeast Asia, where does Asia that plants such as taro, yam, banana, breadfruit, and sugar cane evolved. Okay. Oh, pan. What is a breadfruit? Okay. I don't know what is bread. Oh, okay. I read so fast to this. In the 1850s and 1860s, British railway companies ensured uniform time at stations by arranging for clock manufacturers to send a man once in a week from situation to station to station ensure that the clock were keeping good time. At every station, a porter would be told to have a ladder ready and wait while the clockman ascended with the clock and adjust the hands. If necessary, the train would be kept a minute or two for him so he could do the journey down the line in one day. Okay, OK。最後まで見てくださってありがとうございました。チャンネル登録と高評価お願いします。